Welcome back to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Natalie Rydstrom, joining us through the start of the French Open and throughout as Joao from mgtennistipster.com. We're now taking a look at the outrights and the draw and really how they affect the outrights as well. Joao, thank you for being here. You ready for the French Open tournament?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know you don't get much sleep during these tournaments, do you? You're up pretty much all day and all night.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it comes with the job.
It sure does. Now, listen, the draw was released on Friday. Is there any noticeable sort of draws that that we should be on the lookout that could affect the outright, especially sort of with the main favourites?
Well, when looking at the draw, the main highlight goes to the fact that Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic are in the same half of the draw. They're on the bottom half of the draw, and they might face in the semi-finals. And this is without any doubts the toughest half of the men's draw. Well, on the top half of the draw, we have Andy Murray as the main favorite, and also Stan Wawrinka there, the 2015 champion, is always a threat, and even Kenny Nishikori or Juan Martín del Potro are there. So. But when looking at both halves, definitely the one from the bottom half is the tougher one and the much harder for the players.
Yeah, Rafael Nadal has still maintained, being the favorite right now. You can get him, for example, 1.83 Bet365, 1.91 William Hill. Obviously, shop around for your odds there. But do you were liking him? It seems like he's coming back. He's had some difficulties. He's coming back now. This is obviously where he does well, performs well on the clay court. Based on the draw, can he still get the job done?
Well, he's the undeniable favorite. He's always a favorite to win in the French Open, except for last season, since he was struggling with some physical problems and Djokovic was in terrific shape. But he's definitely the undeniable favorite. He's the 9-time champion on this event, and he's always a tough opponent to beat on clay. And although I think that he can do it once more, when looking at the prices that we have for Nadal to win the tournament, it's impossible to find any value.
Yeah. Well, there is some value if you look at the long shots, but the question is I suppose, how much of a favorite do you think Nadal is? Should we take a stab at somebody like Andy Murray or Novak Djokovic? Novak Djokovic you can get with 5 at Bet365, and Andy Murray you can get as high as 17 at some bookmakers.
Well, when we look at one thing that we can say two things about Nadal's lack of value. One of them is the fact that the average level on the ATP World Tour is much higher nowadays than it was 5 or even 10 years ago. When you look at the players from the top 30, even top 50, all of them are exceptional players, and in a good day, they can beat almost anyone. The average level it's much higher nowadays. And the other fact is that Nadal is not as dominant as he was in the past. When in the past we saw him just crushing everyone on clay, 6-0, 6-1. Winning everything in easy sets. On these days, he's not as dominant. He's still a phenomenal competitor on this surface, but we don't think that he's as dominant as he was in the past. And the price for him to win is similar to the ones we had in 2010, 2011. And we don't think that it's fair to have these prices. Nadal won't have such an easy task as the odds suggest. And when looking at the prices for other players, we can't find any specific player to win the tournament, but there is a market that presents some interesting value, which is Nadal versus the rest of the field. And for any other player to win the French Open, BetVictor has that bet at 1.95 is an interesting odds for any other player to win the title except Nadal.
All right, so you're saying that you think that Nadal can get the job done, but at that price, it's super low and best to look elsewhere. What about players to win first, second, third, and fourth quarter? Have you found any value in that?
Yeah, the only quarter that presents some good value, in our opinion, is the second one. We have there 2 players. I think that one of them will reach the second quarter and can even reach the final. Stan Wawrinka and Joao Tsonga. Wawrinka, as I mentioned, is a former champion. He won the title in 2015. He's famous for playing his best tennis on the big stages, and we have him at 3.25 on Corral to win the second quarter. Also to reach the final, he's at 5 at Bet365. And the other player is Tsonga, as I mentioned. He's at 8.5 on Bet365 to win the second quarter, and that's 23 to reach the final. Both of them can make good performances here in Paris. They have great records. They haven't been playing very well lately. Tsonga won the title today in Lyon, while Wawrinka is currently playing the final in Geneva. He's in the second set, should go to a third after losing the first, and I think that he can get also the job done. So these two players definitely present some value, not only to win the second quarter, but also to make it into the final.
Yeah. Are you going to play them to it? Because Stan Wawrinka, for example, 5.5 paddy power, 5 at Bet365 to make it to reach the final. You know, a lot of people as well do sort of like trading. Would that be a good price to take the bet on if we see that Stan Wawrinka is doing well? Maybe that is a price to trade out later on.
Yeah, this is always a possibility. One of the good things about betting on the outrights is that you're not only betting on your player, you're betting on your player to do well, but also on the other players in that half of the draw, in that section to do well, to do bad. Sorry, because if they lose, the price, the value on your player will be even higher because the odd will drop. It has that's double effect. Whether if your player wins and goes winning rounds, the price will drop. But if the main favorites on that side of the draw, or even when the tournament loses, it will also drop the price on your player because of that.
All right, so let's wrap things up now on the men's singles here. What are the best bets headed into the tournament now for the outrights?
The best plays that we have, as we mentioned, the one that we like the most is a split between Stan Wawrinka and Joao Tsonga to win the second quarter. As we mentioned, Stan Wawrinka at 3.25 at Corral, and Tsonga at 8.5 on Bet365. One of these two players should win the second quarter and reach the semifinals in Paris.
All right, great stuff. That's Joao from mdtennistipster.com. Stay tuned. About to preview now the women's draw and outright, and also the best plays there for day one. Stay tuned. See you soon.